Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is July 15th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1942, the legendary luchador Mil Mascaras. 1951, Jesse the Body Ventura. 1983, he's got kids, it's Heath Slater. And last but not least, 1985, AEW's QT Marshall. And we're going to keep that positivity train a-rolling. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for July 15th. Jumping in the Wayback Machine and going all the way to 1942, where we see Gene Bowman defeat Earl Wampler for the Ohio Heavyweight title in Des Moines, Iowa. Next, 1946, Danny Dusk defeats Joe Savoldi to win the Rocky Mountain Heavyweight title. Our last stop in the 40s, 1949, Tom Mahoney defeats Al Massey in a tournament final to win the vacant Georgia Southern Heavyweight title in Atlanta, Georgia. Jumping into the 50s, 1954, Eddie Gossett, aka Eddie Graham, defeats Frankie Taliber to win the Midwest Wrestling Association World Junior Heavyweight title in Columbus, Ohio, ending Taliber's 10th and final reign. Grooving into 1960, after 38 years of operation, Boston's American Wrestling Association closes its doors. Sticking in 1960, Billy Joyce defeats Dennis Mitchell for the British Heavyweight title in Bradford, England, to begin his third reign. Making two stops in 1963, first, Bobo Brazil becomes the first two-time Worldwide Wrestling Federation United States Heavyweight Champion in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, by defeating Johnny Barend. Our second stop in 1963, Dick the Bruiser defeats Curtis Iukea to win the Hawaii NWA United States Heavyweight title. Three stops in 1967. First, in San Francisco, California, a double title match takes place between WWF World Champion Bruno Sammartino and San Francisco NWA United States Heavyweight Champion Ray Stevens. Stevens defeated Sammartino by countout after hitting him with his Bombs Away finisher. Stevens claimed to be the new Worldwide Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion because he won the match, but the WWF did not recognize him since the rules stated that the WWF title cannot change hands by a countout. Our second stop in 1967, Nebraska Heavyweight Champion Bob Orton Sr. defeats Doug Gilbert in Omaha, Nebraska to become the first AWA Midwest Heavyweight Champion. The title was unified with the Nebraska title, ending its lineage. And our third and final stop in 1967, Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher defeat the Devils duo, Chris Markoff and Angelo Poffo, for the World Wrestling Association World Tag Team titles in Indianapolis, Indiana, ending and beginning both teams' second reign. Grabbing my bell bottoms and going to the 70s, 1971, Dan Miller defeats the Missouri Mauler for the NWA Eastern States Heavyweight title. That next year in 1972, Don and Ron Wright defeat Tommy Gilbert and Sputnik Monroe to win the NWA Tennessee Tag Team titles. 1972, Frankie Rodriguez defeats Bobby Picks to win the West Virginia Heavyweight title. 1975, Al Madril defeats John Tolos for the NWA Texas Heavyweight title in Dallas, Texas, beginning his second reign. 1976, Bob Kelly wins his 18th and final NWA Mississippi Heavyweight title, defeating Sweet Daddy Banks in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Kelly vacated the title when he retired on September 3rd. And our final stop in 1977, Ernie Ladd defeated Dusty Rhodes to win the NWA Florida Heavyweight title in Tallahassee, Florida, ending Rhodes' 5th reign. Grabbing my boombox and going to the 80s, 1983, a 20-man tournament is held in St. Louis, Missouri for the vacant NWA Missouri Heavyweight title, left vacant by Harley Race after winning the NWA World Heavyweight title from Ric Flair on June 10th. In the tournament final, Ric Flair defeated David Von Erich to win that NWA Missouri Heavyweight title. Making 3 stops in 1985, first, Terry Taylor defeats Phil Hickerson to win the CWA AWA International Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee, beginning his 2nd reign. At the same show, Jerry Lawler wins his 2nd NWA Mid-American Heavyweight title from Rick Link. Second stop in 1985, Iceman Parsons defeats Killer Tim Brooks for the World Class Television title in Fort Worth, Texas, beginning his 3rd reign. Our 3rd and final stop in 1985, Bill Ash defeats Scott Armstrong for the Southeast NWA United States Junior Heavyweight title in Birmingham, Alabama, ending Armstrong's 4th reign and beginning Ash's 5th. Our final stop in the 80s, 1986, Ron Bass defeats Kendall Windham to win the NWA Florida Heavyweight title in Tampa, Florida. Grabbing my flannel and going to the decade of grunge, 1991, Robert Fuller and Jeff Jarrett win their 2nd USWA Tag Team titles, defeating the Barroom Brawlers, Bone Crusher and Crowbar, in Memphis, Tennessee. And last but not least, 1996, Brickhouse Brown and Reggie B. Fine defeat Flex Kavana, aka The Rock, and Bart Sawyer for the USWA Tag Team titles in Memphis, Tennessee, ending Kavana and Sawyer's 2nd reign. Those were your short but sweet pro wrestling history highlights for July 15th. I'm the Eclectic Gentleman, Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.